Jeff Bezos' marriage doomed by 2028. A prophecy is making the rounds, a dark prediction aimed right at the heart of unimaginable wealth and our collective fascination with it. It's about the union of the planet's third richest man and the woman who captured his attention, a marriage celebrated with all the glamour money can buy. But according to followers of one of the world's most talked about seers, this partnership is built on a foundation of sand, destined to be washed away by scandal and heartbreak. They call him the Living Nostradamus, a man some believe has predicted global events with chilling accuracy, and it's claimed he has now turned his gaze to one of the world's most powerful couples. What his followers see isn't a fairy tale ending. They're interpreting his words as a direct prediction that Jeff Bezos' marriage to Lauren Sánchez isn't just a house of cards, but that it's absolutely doomed to fail before 2028. This isn't just celebrity gossip. This is a story about betrayal, billions of dollars, and a ticking clock. Today, we're not just going to tell you about the prophecy, we're going to break down the so-called evidence, the psychological tripwires, and the scandalous history that doomsayers claim is proof this marriage is headed for a spectacular and inevitable collapse. Stick around as we unpack why they say this billion-dollar union is already cursed. The seer of our time, who is the Living Nostradamus? So before we get into the specifics of the prediction aimed at Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez, we have to ask, who is this guy they call the Living Nostradamus, and why should anyone listen to him? His real name is Athos Salomé, a 38-year-old Brazilian parapsychologist who's grabbed global attention for his bold and sometimes eerily accurate predictions. Salomé isn't your typical street corner psychic. He presents himself as a serious analyst of unseen forces, claiming his predictions come from studying the Kabbalah, the ancient Jewish tradition of mystical interpretation. He argues this gives his visions a foundation in patterns and power cycles, not just vague feelings. And his track record, at least according to his followers and a whole lot of tabloid headlines, is what makes people pay attention. His followers point to his alleged predictions of the COVID-19 pandemic, the death of Queen Elizabeth II, and even Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter as proof of his gift. Of course, skeptics argue that these predictions were incredibly vague. Phrases like global disruption and biological threats could apply to just about anything, and were only interpreted to fit the events after they happened. But for those who believe these were direct hits, more recently, Salomé has issued warnings for 2025 and beyond. He's predicted things like a silent nuclear crisis and a global conflict sparked by a surprise event in the South China Sea. He also made headlines by claiming an asteroid he dubbed the God of Chaos would pose a threat, a claim that got a boost when NASA confirmed a large asteroid would indeed make a close pass by Earth. He's even waded into the world of royalty, making detailed predictions about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, including security scares and professional struggles. Whether you see him as a genuine prophet or just a master of media, Athos Salomé has built a reputation for making high-stakes predictions about the world's most powerful people. It's this very reputation that gives the alleged prophecy about Bezos and Sánchez its terrifying weight. The man who claims to have foreseen a pandemic and the death of a monarch is now, according to interpretations of his work, pointing his focus directly at this billionaire couple, and his forecast is anything but sunny. The wedding of the century, or the beginning of the end. Picture this: Venice, Italy, late June 2025. The ancient canals are transformed into a playground for the global elite. The occasion, the wedding of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, a man worth around $238 billion, and Emmy-winning journalist Lauren Sánchez. It was, by all accounts, the wedding of the decade, a multi-day spectacle of opulence meant to send a message of unshakable love. Private jets and super yachts descended on the city for a party that spanned several days. The guest list was a staggering collection of fame and power. Reports claimed A-listers like Oprah, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kim Kardashian, and Tom Brady were in attendance, alongside political figures like Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. Music icons Usher and Lady Gaga were even expected to perform. The ceremony itself reportedly took place on the stunning island of San Giorgio Maggiore. Sánchez was said to have worn a custom Dolce & Gabbana lace gown, while Matteo Bocelli, son of the legendary Andrea Bocelli, serenaded the couple with Can't Help Falling in Love. The cost, while nothing is confirmed, speculative estimates put the price tag anywhere from a jaw-dropping $20 to $50 million. Yet, even amid the glamour, there were signs of complexity. For one, some reports suggested the Venice ceremony was purely symbolic, with city officials having no record of an official marriage request. This hints the couple likely handled the legal side of things quietly in the United States, a smart move given the finances involved. Security was also massive, partly for the A-list crowd, but also to manage local protests from critics who blasted the city for renting itself out to a billionaire. This wedding was a statement, a real-life fairy tale with an unlimited budget, but it's this exact fairy tale image that the prophecy aims to shatter. Interpreters of the Living Nostradamus would argue that the grander the show, the deeper the shadows it casts. They might say that the sheer scale of the wedding was just an attempt to build a palace on top of a sinkhole, that no amount of money or celebrity guests can fix a foundation that was, from the very start, fundamentally fractured. The prophecy suggests this grand Venetian party wasn't the sealing of a bond, but the start of a countdown to its implosion. The prophecy's first pillar, a foundation of betrayal. Every story has a beginning, and the story of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez was born from a global scandal. It is this origin, a history of secrecy and betrayal, that forms the first and most critical pillar of the prophecy that their marriage is doomed. Back in January 2019, the world was stunned when Jeff Bezos, then married to Mackenzie Scott for 25 years, announced their divorce. Just hours later, the National Enquirer dropped a bombshell story, revealing an extramarital affair between Bezos and Sánchez, who was also married at the time to Hollywood agent Patrick Whitesell. The report even included their private text messages, turning their romance into a public spectacle. Bezos launched an investigation into the leak, which led to an even bigger drama. He accused the Enquirer's parent company of trying to blackmail him by threatening to publish more compromising photos. The saga got even more complicated when Lauren's own brother, Michael Sánchez, was identified as the alleged source of the leaked texts, which he reportedly sold for $200,000. Michael later denied providing certain photos and sued for defamation, creating a whirlwind of family betrayal and public humiliation. This wasn't just a rocky start. For many, it was a fatal flaw baked into the relationship's DNA. This is where the prophecy really hits home, drawing on common beliefs about relationships that start this way. While there's no specific study on billionaire affairs, human behavior experts often warn about the instability of unions born from infidelity. Dr. Patrick Whitesell, a behavior expert, has commented on these dynamics, noting the huge challenges they face. He explained to Nikki Swift that these relationships often begin with lies, secrecy, guilt, and dishonesty, which can create a deep-rooted lack of trust between the new partners themselves. Dr. Whitesell has said that the core issue is that the original bond is built in dysfunction. Healthy relationships, he argues, are founded on integrity. In contrast, affair-based relationships are often fueled by adrenaline, escape, and unresolved pain from previous marriages. If the personal issues that led to the affair in the first place aren't dealt with, they're almost guaranteed to resurface and poison the new union. This expert analysis mirrors the heart of the doom prophecy. The claim is that Bezos and Sánchez didn't just leave their spouses, they built their new life on the wreckage of their old ones. The very act of betrayal that brought them together becomes a ghost that haunts them. The prophecy suggests that a bond forged in secrecy will forever be plagued by doubt. After all, how can you ever fully trust a partner when you both know your relationship began by breaking the trust of others? This is the fundamental crack in their foundation, and according to the seers, it's a debt that will come due before 2028. Is a relationship that starts with a scandal of this size destined to fail? Or can love conquer even the most chaotic beginnings? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one and want to know what you believe. Drop us the prophecy's second pillar, the weight of billions. The second pillar holding up this dark prophecy is the one thing that defines Jeff Bezos. His colossal, almost unimaginable wealth. A fortune of over $200 billion doesn't just buy you super yachts and space flights. It creates a gravitational field of pressure and expectation that can crush even the strongest relationships. At the center of it all is the prenup. While the exact details are private, you can bet that one of the most ironclad agreements in history was drafted before they walked down the aisle. For prophets of doom, a prenup isn't just a smart financial tool, it's a contract that begins a marriage by planning for its end. It formalizes a level of distrust, a constant reminder that love and assets are managed separately. It can create an inherent power imbalance that slowly erodes the feeling of a true equal partnership. Then there's the psychological weight of the money itself. As experts have pointed out for decades, immense power can change a person. Celebrity life coach Dr. Patrick Whitesell has analyzed why powerful men cheat, explaining that power can lead to a sense of being invincible, of being above the rules. This can feed narcissism and a constant need for instant gratification. When a man can have anything he wants, the real challenge is staying satisfied with what he has. The prophecy suggests that the same impulses that may have led Bezos to stray in his first marriage won't just vanish. Bezos built his empire through decades of relentless, obsessive work. Sánchez comes from the world of media and entertainment, which thrives on public attention. While they seem perfectly aligned now, critics and interpreters of the prophecy see this as a future conflict point. When the initial passion fades, will their fundamental priorities begin to clash? This immense wealth also isolates them in a gilded cage where everyone's motives are questionable. Are the people around them genuine friends, or are they just drawn to the money and power? This environment can breed
paranoia. But when the bond with your partner was itself formed under a cloud of suspicion, that isolation becomes a pressure cooker. The prophecy essentially states that the very empire Bezos built will become the engine of his marital destruction. The money that buys everything creates an environment where nothing can be truly trusted. It's not a safety net for the marriage. It's the anchor that, according to the seers, will drag it into the abyss. The prophecy's final clues, interpreting the signs. So we have betrayal, and we have billions. Now we get to the final, most cryptic part of the prophecy, the symbolic language that followers of the Living Nostradamus claim describes the couple's doom. To be crystal clear, there's no public record of Athos Salomé making a direct, named prediction about Bezos and Sánchez. Instead, what we have are interpretations from his followers, who believe they see the couple's story reflected in his broader warnings about technology, power, and betrayal. One of the alleged prophetic statements points to a shattering of a union between tech and sky. This is seen as a direct symbol for Bezos and Sánchez. Bezos is the undisputed king of technology, the man who built an empire on the digital cloud. Sánchez is a licensed pilot and founder of an aerial film company who has even flown on a Blue Origin rocket. Her world is literally the sky. The prophecy then hints at more than just a divorce. It describes a shattering of this symbolic merger of their two worlds. Another cryptic clue speaks of a great betrayal that echoes its own creation. This points directly back to the first pillar, the affair. The word echoes is key. It implies history is about to repeat itself. The prediction isn't just that the marriage will end, but that it will end for the same reason it began, infidelity. It suggests a pattern of behavior is doomed to repeat itself, that the betrayal isn't just a memory, but a blueprint for their future. A third piece of the puzzle is the timeline, before the year of the double four, which interpreters claim is a mystical way of saying 2028. Why that specific date? Followers connect this to numerological cycles. The relationship went public in 2019. A collapse before 2028 marks a period of less than 9 years, a number that in many mystical traditions represents the end of a cycle. It suggests a karmic deadline is approaching. Taken together, these clues create a narrative for the couple's downfall. It won't be a simple split. It will be a shattering. It will be an echo of their scandalous past, and it will happen within a specific mystically significant time frame. For believers, these aren't just guesses. They're signs from a seer who they believe can read the currents of fate. Providence. So where does that leave us? On one side, you have Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez, a couple who defied a global scandal to celebrate their love with a spectacular wedding, projecting an image of unbreakable unity. They've poured resources into philanthropy, traveled to space, and by all outward signs, have started to build a life as a true power couple. A prophecy built on 3 pillars of doom, a foundation of betrayal, the crushing weight of billions, and cryptic clues that foretell a dramatic end before 2028. Will this dark vision come to pass? Will the cracks in the foundation, papered over with billions of dollars, finally splinter and bring it all crashing down? Or can the world's third richest man and his new wife defy the odds, rewrite their story, and find a happiness that proves all the prophets and psychologists wrong? Perhaps the most unsettling part is that the prophecy feels both mystical and entirely plausible, tapping into our deepest intuitions about trust, power, and human nature. For now, the world watches and waits. Only time will tell if this marriage is a modern fairy tale or a tragedy waiting for its final act. That's the real story behind Jeff Bezos' wedding doomed by 2028 that only we're brave enough to tell. If you want more exclusive celebrity secrets, billion-dollar scandals, and Hollywood insider information delivered straight to your feed, subscribe now and join our VIP community. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. It involves a major A-lister and a scandal that will break the internet. Thanks for watching.